Hi, I'm Rachael Phillips, and welcome to this week's energy forecast for October the 30th through till November the 5th. And damn, it is getting close to another year being finished and finalizing. So this coming week on Saturday the 4th, we are going to have a full moon. So the full moon is always usually around surrender, releasing, and letting go. This week it seems to be quite a predominant theme around forgiveness. And forgiveness comes in so many different factors, especially as we're starting to wrap up the end of the year. We start to think back to the start of the year as to what are all of the goals, the plans, the dreams, all of the things and the intentions that we set for the year. And then we start getting closer towards the end of the year, and then we start thinking, shit, have I actually lived up to my own expectations? And what can happen is that if we feel that we haven't lived up to our own expectations, we start to feel guilt. We start to feel like a failure. We start to think that we're not good enough. We move into places that can become quite unhealthy for ourselves. This is a moment of forgiveness through reflection, and we are going to move into a place where we can reflect over these moments. And reflection is very different than processing, because reflection is about being an objective observer. So observing what are the thoughts that are coming up for you, and then if you feel that there is a hint of any of those particular elements around high expectations, not living up, not feeling good enough, lack of self-worth, any particular theme that comes up through that is going to give you an opportunity to go in and give yourself forgiveness. We as humans, we tend to forgive other people sometimes a lot quicker than what we will forgive ourselves, and we hold on to all of that burden within our own self, and it really does deplete our energy resources. And on an emotional and mental level, we start to create unhealthy belief systems that we're actually not really good enough, because we can actually collect evidence and go, well, I didn't do this year, and I haven't done that this year, and I haven't done this, and we start collating and collecting all of these things that we haven't done as we start getting closer to the end of the year. And now is the time, as we move into the full moon, it really is now time to surrender all of those old patterns of behaviors and to start fresh. Yes, we are coming close to the end of the year, but we still are another 8+ weeks away. So anything that you want to start getting moving can be done right now. So use this opportunity this week to be able to go in and observe what thoughts, feelings, and emotions are being brought up for you through the full moon, and then being able to go in and ask yourself how or what kind of forgiveness do you need to give to yourself. And this week's cards, they come up, and Monday and Tuesday is clairvoyance. Wednesday through till Friday is the spiritual being, and Saturday, Sunday, which is very, very cool because Saturday is the full moon. So on the weekend is about transformation. So let's go and look at how each one of these cards connect in with that forgiveness and reflection element. So with the clairvoyance card, what it's saying is that there is a component of visual communication that your soul is going to bring forth for you. So you'll start recognizing maybe posts that you see on Facebook all around different things. You're going to see written words. You're going to see different colors. There's going to be lots of things that are going to come to you through a visual component, which is going to help you be able to connect in with what is it that you can look at. What kind of forgiveness do you need to give to yourself at this point? I feel like this year we have done so much removing of so many layers, and we're starting to feel a little bit raw. And there is this component that now we need to start coming in, and we need to look at starting how we can nurture and nourish our own self. As humans, we're so good at taking care of so many other people, and we negate to make sure that we make ourselves a priority. And for some people, they have had limiting beliefs thinking that taking care of yourself is being selfish. But remembering, the more that you give to yourself and the more that you care for yourself, the more capacity that you have to be able to give. So it's just so important. So look for all those visual signs. Like I went up to, just as an example, I went up to the shops and had to grab a few things. And on the way back, I was thinking of a particular person about something that they had said to me, and it really triggered looking back and reflecting over the things that have been done and also the things that haven't been done for myself this year. And I happened to be driving along, and all of a sudden that person's name came up on a license plate, and it made me really go in and become, at first my brain went, you haven't done this, 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 this. And then I went, hang on a second, reflect, take a step back. Don't jump into that automatic response of going into your old fears and your limitations and the crap, because it's just crap. It's the neuroplasticity, I'll get that word out, is that your brain has been wired in a certain way, and now we want to go in and we want to rewire these old limitations, and we want to replace them with something incredibly. It's more than just self-nurturing, and it's more than nourishing the soul. It's about bringing all parts of ourselves back together again so we feel complete and whole. And therefore we can then make an assessment as to what parts do we want to hold on to anymore, and what kind of forgiveness can we give to ourselves. We really do underestimate the power of forgiveness. Forgiveness isn't about, listening to your old shitty stories or getting caught up in because look, at the end of the day, we all know our own shit. So if we know we're coming through with a whole heap of BS, we're going to catch ourselves out. So this is that moment that you can just go in and go, as soon as you may hear a story or an old limiting thought, you can stop that process immediately and just call in and say, I forgive myself. And it's really just that simple and that beautiful. Because what happens is that you immediately interrupt that transmission of information from your brain to other parts of your body that trigger an emotional response. And what you're doing is you're going to stop that emotional response of going immediately to, I'm not good enough, or I haven't done this, or emotionally beating yourself up. What we want to do is we want to break that cycle this week. We want to look at how can we use all of these amazing tools and resources that every single person that walks this earth has. And one of the most powerful things that we can give to ourselves is self-forgiveness. And you're going to see beautiful signs coming in as an opportunity to just go in and say, I forgive myself. And I know that this has been a little bit of a mantra that I've been saying to myself each time a thought may pop into my head or an emotion may be triggered. I will immediately now recognize it and just go, I forgive myself, and just hold that space of being able to truly forgive yourself. That is an incredible gift that you can give to yourself. And remember, the more that we can forgive ourselves, what we're actually doing is that we are surrendering and we are letting go of those old emotional triggers that we have allowed ourselves to become our filter in which we view the world. Which moves on to Wednesday through till Friday is about spiritual being. Spiritual being is about that element of remembering that we are here as humans. We don't come with a roadmap of knowing exactly how to do or be or have or any of those kind of components. We don't know. Sometimes we are doing things for the first time. And so therefore we need to be compassionate with our own self and remembering to just be kind to ourselves. Let go of those high expectations that drown us in sadness and sorrow. We want to be able to be kind enough to say to ourselves, do you know what? may have learnt my lesson. And the next time that this comes about, I really am going to do something very different this time. And so therefore we can take away the learning that we gain from any situation and look at what's something so empowering that I can do the next time around. And just being aware that, you're here to learn, grow, and develop, and we do that through life experiences. If we knew what we needed to do at that given time to be able to get the most awesome response, we would do that. And sometimes we get caught up in our emotions, and even if we do know what the right thing is to do, sometimes our own emotions can flood us that much that we may not always behave the way that we would have liked to. And this is where that forgiveness is coming in. It's time to be able to have a look at what is the kind of language that you are communicating with yourself. Are you a person that is taught yourself to emotionally beat yourself up if you haven't lived up to your own expectation? It's time to have a look at, are your expectations way too high that it is always bringing you to a place of feeling like you've let yourself down, so then your level of self-value and self-worth is always just going on this an emotional roller coaster. It's now time to find this plateau in ways in which that we can come back and bring parts to ourselves. And this is where we bring in that mind-body connection. We can feel into what is coming up for us to feel into that self-forgiveness. And we can use our logical brain where we can go in, and the moment something is triggered, we can just go immediately bring in that conscious awareness and go, I want to do something differently. Don't get caught up in the story. It doesn't matter what has brought it to the surface. See that is the gift in itself. So allow that thoughts to come to the surface, but immediately bring in that conscious logic to go, this doesn't serve me anymore. It's not generating any greatness within me to do these kind of patterns of behavior anymore, and I really want to do something different. And then the moment that you say, I forgive myself, allow yourself to sit in that feeling of what it feels like to actually give yourself freedom through forgiveness. And feel it moving outside of your physical structure. Allow yourself to feel what it feels like on an emotional level, to let go of all of those past emotions that you may have held on to for so long. And you will learn to become a new being, which comes through on Saturday and Sunday with the full moon, because we will go through a beautiful transformation the moment that we can bring in this self-forgiveness. And transformation is amazing. And not only, you will also see that there will be an array of butterflies. The one thing I really wanted to bring, it's jumped into my head. The one thing that I have been incredibly aware of these last week is I really don't know what they're called. I think they may be little dandelions, but they're those little things that when we were kids, you used to pick them up and you blow them and you say a wish. Now, I have seen hundreds over this last coming week. So there's that beautiful element of now it's time to bring these wishes into fruition. And we do that through the transformation of forgiveness that we need to give to ourselves, so we can heal our own past hurts. We can heal the way in which we treat ourselves, and we can design a new way of being and doing by simply forgiving ourselves. And there will be so many beautiful transformation that comes from just that one simple tool that you can give to yourself at any given time, at any given place. We don't have to go and sit for hours to be able to forgive ourselves. We only need to be able to bring that awareness and then say the mantra, I forgive myself, and sit in that space and allow yourself to feel all of those shackles that have been weighing you down to just be removed. And that is the beautiful gift that you can give to yourself. And this is then where we can sit back and reflect and be able to go in and remind ourselves of the journey that we have been on this year, and being able to not only focus on what we haven't achieved, because somewhere in our human awareness and over the years, we have learned to become more focused on what we haven't done rather than being able to see what we have done. So therefore, we will always be chasing ourselves. And now is the time to correct these old patterns of behavior, bringing in new powerful ways in which to be a human. And this is where we really are going to shift and shake things up this week. And it's going to be done in, I feel like it's going to be done in an incredibly, really beautiful, gentle space. Most of the time when we're surrendering and releasing, it's like, frig me, it's like being stripped to raw. Whereas this time, because we're going to be giving back to ourselves to be able to initiate the letting go, there's going to be this beautiful gentleness that comes in over this coming week. And I feel like we're all at that level where we want to find a more gentle way to be able to move through the different levels of energy that is consistently coming through on a regular basis. And so therefore we can really nurture our own progress along our journey and also bring into awareness of all the amazing things you have done. So don't get caught in the trap of what have I not done. That's that self-forgiveness. Now it is time to bring awareness to what have you done and what would you like to do to feel good about yourself coming up to the end of this year. And one is really going to generate you if you move into that space this week. But if you continue to go through that way of emotionally beating yourself up, that is not going to bring you any closer to being able to achieve any of the things that you would like to do this year. It's actually going to pull you even further and take you into places of even more emotional distress. So this week is an incredibly powerful week to be able to continually give back to ourselves, to really support ourselves along this journey, and to come in and be gentle. And I think that is incredibly exactly what our soul is needing this year. I mean, like, let's be real. It's been a bit of a wild ride this year. There's been, I bet you all of you will be able to sit back and go, you know, there's been some awesome stuff. There's been some not so much awesome stuff. There's been some pushing in this direction, and I've done this that I never thought I'd be able to do, and I haven't done that, but that's okay. And there's this whole collation of just so much stirring that's gone on within ourself, and it's almost like our structures have been disintegrated, and now we get to have a look at what kind of solid structure do we want to build for ourselves and for our future from this very given moment. But in order to be able to create that solid foundation, it also needs to come in with a softness and a gentleness in that, and is initiated by you first learning to forgive yourself. So give yourself the greatest gift that you can this week, to continually go through your mantra of just saying, I forgive myself, and allow yourself to feel into that space. So I wish each and every one of you a very, very cool week as always. Remember, the full moon is about cleansing and clearing and letting go, so we can bring in other different tools as well to be able to help through that process by saging our house, our environment, our own physical beings as well, wherever we work, our car, any place. There's no limitations. Our oracle cards, our crystals, anything that we may use for tools within your industry. It's a really beautiful way to be able to then not only have that element of forgiving yourself, but then shift the energy within every space in which you are. So within your physical structure, within your environment, to be able to help shift that old energy that's been sitting within that environment as well, to then be able to recalibrate this new beautiful soft nurturing energy that's going to enter through. And this is where the transformation is really going to come. So there are so many tools that we have this week that we can help to be able to bring a really nice gentle equilibrium back to self and soul, this self. So have an amazing week, and always take care of yourself. It is never selfish to make yourself a priority. So much love to you all, and I will see you all again soon.